to one should be seeing a doctor, by the way, for something. The hell, right? My advice, go see a doctor if you're sick, though. But I'm not sick. I want to go see for other very personal reasons. All right, so moving forward. Which, couldn't find out, I got a little cute thing that happened today, though. All right, so as memory people seem to lose things and misplace things and whatnot. So I was totally not in a rush, though. But don't you love it when they set the appointments, and anybody who has appointments that they have to always go to? For some people, like, for example, neurologists in places, right? They're hard to, book the appointments. So they book them out like 2 months. Even cardiologists, they do this too, right? 2 months, 3 months away. And you have to make it to that appointment. But by the time you get to that appointment, though, you always seem to forget, where exactly are you going? So that's kind of like what happened to me, except for I was in the right place. Too funny. I was in the right place, ran to the wrong place, found out it was the wrong place, and then ran back to the right place. Went a direction that I have never went before. But I have been told that same thing over and over and over again. Told to go this way, and I went that way. This time, I was told to go the same way, and I listened and went the same way. It's kind of like with God, right? So as people, we tend to want to listen, but we tend to be like babies. Curiosity killed the kitty cat, stuff like that, right? So if God tells you no, don't go down that path, because that path will surely have something bad happen to you. We don't know how bad it will be. Well, technically does. No, or she does. Know how bad. But anyways, point being is that it is known, but not, we choose whether we want to test that theory and see if it actually is true. We love how we're playing mind games, right? So we go down that wrong path and then suddenly, bam. It's like, man, you're not surprised though, are you? When something happens. No, not surprised. On that not surprised notes, those are deja vus, not surprised, but yeah, you just kind of sucks. But this is like a wake up call. It's like, all right, so God just told you, are you going to listen? The universe is speaking. Are you still going to go in the wrong direction? You keep making that left. You need to get right. So, just saying. So, I did this little game, which I've done it plenty of times before, but this one was a unique one. Maybe one day I will play a card game with you guys. And but my card games are always about a deeper level. I'll usually keep it in my head. Sometimes I'll speak it out loud, which makes it for some a little bit spiritually, yeah, it's cosmic sometimes. So, but yeah, last time I played card game, I played a little game out loud, and that was about twice. It was like a game of tug of war with the devil and an angel, and God's up there like, hey. So twice the devil got his way, but the third time God said, not today. So kind of like the 3 strikes, you're out. Except for, how about 3 strikes? Not for the good people, but it's 3 strikes towards not. And for some of us, those 3 strikes got like a half of a strike, because if anybody remembers, if you with your kids and or when you were a kid, this could have been happening then. You get that countdown, but if you notice, it kind of slows a little bit. It's like they're giving a little wiggle room. You know, God does that too. Gives a little slow down. I'm like, okay, because it's not on man's time when things happen, or women, men, women. It's not. It's on God's time when things happen. That is when. And man cannot tell God what to do, or when to do it, or this is going to happen then. But sure, you can get messengers that be able to tell you this is a possibility if you take this path, just like false prophets and true prophets. You have seers that would see the 2 paths. Now see, and the one will see the good one and will give you only the good. But if you choose to make a different choice, then just like anybody watch Marvel, right? Loki. I love that one. It's really great. So Loki, if you make one little change, right, from the many paths that could go, it can create dimensions, different things, right? So we really don't know which way we'll go down, or they could have been exactly like the end game. Out of billions of the world is going to end. There's no way. But there was only one way. The geeks had it right. Yeah, that's true. One way. All right, moving forward. I'm not saying which way that is, by the way. And I am saying that someone put a message, and thank you for that message, of the Bible is a book of books. I know someone told me one day that the Bible ended. And you know what my idea was of that? I'm like, I think it ended because of man. That doesn't mean that God ended it. Because explain The Simpsons to me. And go freak out, go crazy on that one. Because explain it, seriously. Explain The Simpsons. I love it. You ever think that maybe the reason why the Bible stopped is because no one likes to just have their life end abruptly all the time? They chose to live their lives. But when once chose to speak up, what happened? Witches, warlocks, whatever you want to call them, burned. Their own little, different types of crucifixions, right? Sacrifice, whatever. They drowned them too. Oh, I love that one. That's like one of my favorite ones, right? Throw a person in water, and if they float, they're a witch. But if they sink, they're not. Either way, they die. There was no winning there at all. It's just like no good situation of winning. Needed like a Batman or a Robin, to come through and save the day. Too bad that did not happen. Or a miracle. You drown and somehow they didn't think twice about breathing air into the body or something, and I don't know how you came back to life. But then if that happened, they probably would think you're a witch and throw you back in there. It was like, we need to do another test. That person coughed up the water. It's like, dude, you just really trying real hard to kill that one person individually. Real hard trying to kill people. The highlight of our lives, right? Try very hard to kill us and yet don't succeed. Anyways, let's move forward. I thought that was a interesting throw-off scenario. So, one of them days, yes, the weather is good, and for some odd reason, I'm wearing a sweater. Go figure. I'm bringing in my own sauna because I can't feel the weather anyways. All right. So we are going to be doing 2 Kings chapter 7 to 9. All right. Elijah's prophecies incredible plenty in Samaria. I'll be honest, I did not read this in advance. I mean, I have read all of this, but I'm just saying. I like to be authentic, so I do not read these in advance and sit here and be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna do this perfect because I read it like a million times before doing so. Totally did not. At all. Completely 100% authentic. Butcher words, therefore authentic. All right. So, then Elijah said, hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. Tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria. Then a lord on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God, and said, behold, if the Lord would make windows in heaven, might this thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thy eyes, but shall not eat thereof. And there were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate, and they said one to another, why sit we here until we die? And if we say, we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit still here, we die also. Now therefore come and let us fall unto the host of Syrians. If they save us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall but die. Okay. And they arose up in the twilight to go unto the camp of Syrians. And when they were come to the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord had made kings of the Hittites, and we hold our peace if we tarry light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come, that we may go and tell the king's household. So they came and called to the porter, and they told them, saying, We came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied, the asses tied, and the tents as they were. And he called the porters, and they told it to the king's house within. And the king arose in the night, and said unto his servants, I will now show you what the Syrians have done to us. They know what we be hungry. They know that we be hungry. Therefore are they gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, When they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive and get into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, Let some take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, they are as all the multitude, right, of Israel that are left in it. Behold, I say, they are even all as the multitude of the Israelites. All as multitude. What? Wait, hold on a second. Rewind. They are even as all the multitude of the Israelites that are consumed. Ooh, I swear that's a smiley face. And let us send and see. They took therefore 2 chariot horses, and the king sent after the host of the Syrians, saying, Go and see. And they went after them unto Jordan, and lo, all the way was full of garments and vessels, which the Syrians had cast away in their haste.
Press the capture button to switch to your glasses camera.
And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people went out and spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. The skeptical Lord is trodden to death. So you notice that I just pinpoint this out. Everybody should be very mindful of how they love to capitalize things. So there is like a full capitalized L-O-R-D, right? And there is a capital L with a lowercase O-R-D. And then there's a complete lowercase. So everybody should know that God, in all those versions, right? And Lord, all those versions can definitely be speaking of different people, because they were lords, and then man were made in God's images. So, which means that, yes, there are gods and goddesses, prophets and prophetesses. I mean, but now, since there's that transgender thing going on, we simply could say God, and it can just go either way. Because we could definitively say that we're giving God the choice. Because people keep getting like, no, there's no such thing as goddess, right? But what's a woman? Definitely not a man. But now they are women who are man, but not what's a man. Definitely not a woman, but now they are men who are women. what is it? The truth shall set you free, but all of the world will be confused because of what they did to me. God's choice of words, not ours. Music speaks, so do photos. All you gotta do is look and see and open your ears. Dreams. What was that? A lot of people went to sleep and then they had a dream. I had a dream. Do we think that they all ended? No. That's what explains Simpsons. Explain all these prophets and prophetesses. Yes, male and female. They are two. Male, female. All right. And it came to pass, as the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel, shall be tomorrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. And that Lord answered the man of God, and said, Now behold, if the Lord should make windows in heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, Behold, thou shalt see it in thy eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And so it fell out unto him, for the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died. Elijah predicts a 7-year famine. Then spake Elijah unto the woman. So Elijah spoke unto the woman, whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, and go thou and thy household, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn. For the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land 7 years. And the woman arose and did after the saying of the man of God. And she went with her household and sojourned in the land of the Philistines 7 years. And it came to pass at the 7 years' end that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. And the king talked with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray thee. As he was telling the king how he had restored a dead body to life, that, behold, the woman, whose son he had restored to life, cried to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, My lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elijah restored to life. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field since the day that she left the land, even until now. And Elijah came to Damascus, and Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, was sick. And it was told him, saying, The man of God is come hither. And the king said unto Hazael, Take a present in thy hand, and go. Meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? Just to mention, just so everybody knows, remember how, I know right now people are saying that, but my curiosity, Cat, is that we throw it back, right? And now it's bad. Now it's evil. Raising a person back from the dead, bringing someone back to life, in certain opinions, it is considered evil. I mean, any of y'all play Diablo 4, that's a necromancer, right? So, even in the Bible, at one point it says, do not perform necromancy. But yet people are bringing people back to life, and they are men of God. And Jesus did too. And then he got brought back to life by God, which was an act of God, necromancer. So Hazael went to meet him and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels burdened, and came and stood before him, and said, Thy son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, hath sent me to thee, saying, Shall I recover from this disease? And Elijah said unto him, Go, say unto him, Thou mayest certainly recover, howbeit the Lord hath showed me that he shall surely die. And he settled his countenance and steadfastly until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. And Hazael said, Why weepeth my Lord? And he answered, Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and wilt dash their children, and rip up their... Is thy servant a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elijah answered, The Lord hath showed me that thou shalt be king over Syria. So he departed from Elijah and came to his master, who said to him, What said Elijah to thee? And he answered, He told me that thou shouldest surely recover. And it came to pass on the morrow that he took a thick cloth and dipped it in water and spread it on his face, so that he died. And Hazael reigned in his stead. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, the king of Israel, Josaphat being the king of Judea, and Jehoram, the son of Josaphat, king of Judea, began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign. All right, so it's straight. So as a young buck, he's really young, 32 years old was when this dude reigned, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem, 8 years. So he was 32 years old and he reigned 8 years. So when this guy hit 40 years old, that's like 40 years in the desert, 40. He stopped reigning at 40. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab. This Lord, which is all uppercase, his children, Edom and revolts against Judea. These days, Edom revolted against him about, and the captains fled into their tents. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judea unto this day. Then Lebanon revolted at the same time. And the rest of the acts of Joram and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judea? And Joram slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Isaiah, his son, reigned in his stead. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Isaiah, the son of Joram, king of Judea, began to reign. 22 years old was Isaiah when he began to reign. We just got younger, guys. This dude started running at the age of 22. Everybody see how our 22-year-olds act? What do you think happened with this one? And he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Atalia. It's actually Athaliah. I'd rather, you know what? Atalia sounds much better. Besides me getting tongue twisted. All right. The daughter of Omer, king of Israel. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to war against Hazael, king of Syria, in Ramoth Gilead. And the Syrians wounded Joram, and the king of Joram, which is just King Joram, went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria, and Isaiah, the son of Jehoram. These are two different people here. King of Judea went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. Interesting. You see, back then a lot of people got sick, and when they did get sick, they died. We just call that an act of God, right? But nowadays we got medicine, so people normally don't die now. That's an act of God right there. Medicine. Or is it man-made? It is man-made. They didn't make them on this earth for no reason, because back in the old days, they were witch doctors. Saw that coming a mile away. Elijah commands that Jehu be anointed king of Israel, and Elijah the prophet called one of the children of the prophets, and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take this box of oil in thy hand, and go to Ramoth Gilead. And when thou comest thither, look out there Jehu, the son of Joshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in and make him arise up from among his brethren, and carry him to an inner chamber. Then take the box of oil, and pour it on his head, and say, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then open the door, and flee, and tarry not. So the young man, even the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead. And when he came, behold, the captains of the host were sitting. And he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jah said, unto which of all us? And he said to thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord. Yeah, I know, I caught that too. I don't know if anybody caught that, but some odd reason my voice wanted to say serpents of the Lord. At the hand of Jezebel, for the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Raja. And the dogs shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. Israel's army accepts Jehu's enthronement. And Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord, lowercase, all of them. And one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hasted and took every man his garment and put it under him on the top of the stairs, and blew with trumpets, saying, Jehu is king. And Jehu, the son of Josaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had kept Ramoth Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Hazael, king of Syria. And King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And we're back. I gotta forget that one little movement will shake the car. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. I'm not saying the rest of that on here while I'm reading this. Now I lost my place just because that just somehow just came out of nowhere, because that was a song that showed up in my head. I ain't heard that in forever, but it's not. Yeah, okay. We're gonna move forward. It's got me all over here with the communications. Okay. I'm gonna go on a spirit walk for real. Do another one. It's about time for another one. Alright, so then let none go for Israel. So Jail G oh, is it getting hot in here? Is So Joe rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel, and Joram lay there, and Isaiah, king of Judea, was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu, as he came and said, I see a company. And Joram said, Take a horseman and send to meet them, and let him say, Is it peace? So there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? And Jehu said, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. Then he sent out a second on horseback, which came to them, and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? And Jehu answered, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, He came even unto them, and cometh not again, and the driving is like the driving of... Hello! Sorry about that. So... looks like the phone got hot, so that's probably what I was wondering about. Yeah. Go figure, it happens. Alright, so I'm going to go to continue off and consider this kind of like the later one. Welcome back, everybody, to Teizzy's World, right? Fan reaction. I only got like a 2-minute break. Maybe 5 minutes. Alright, so we will be continuing forward here. And maybe I'll figure out how to splice these two together. Actually, I know exactly how to splice them together. I'm going to do that too. But for anybody who is watching live, hey, sorry about the disconnection. People get thrown off and go here and that way. If you came back and watched later, I appreciate it. Thank you. I need to note to self, I did actually come to mind and think about it. But remember how I said to test the theory out? I knew my phone was going to overheat. I'm not surprised about it. I should have had the car on with the air conditioner on, but I did not. So therefore, it did exactly what I thought it would do. This is why I do it early in the morning. I'm probably going to do it more earlier in the morning, because that guarantees that it is not hot, right? So, probably looking at that. Woke up at 3:30 this morning. It's pretty early to do it, but, I mean, I don't see why I can't do it, because, all due respect, I'll just have the morning wake up, which I did post the morning wake up picture of me. Yeah. And I did not put on makeup. And I still ain't wearing makeup right now. FYI. Alright. Anyway, so we're on chapter, 2 Kings chapter 9 here. And I believe I'm going to start off with 16, because that guarantees that there was no interruption during that time. Alright, so Joe rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel. From Joram lay there. And Isaiah, king of Judea, was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu, as he came and said, I see a company. And Joram said, Take a horseman and send to meet them, and let him say, Is it peace? And So there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, Thus saith the king, is at peace. And Joab said, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. Then he sent out a second on horseback, which came to them and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? And Joel answered, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, He came even unto them, and cometh not again. And the driving is like the driving of Joel, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously. And Joram said, Make ready thee. And his chariot was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, and Isaiah, king of Judea, went out, each in his chariot. Yeah. And they went out against Joel, and meet him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelites. And it came to pass, when Joram saw Joel, that he said, Is it peace, Joel? And he answered, What peace, so long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and their witchcrafts are so many? And Joram turned his hands and fled, and said to Isaiah, There is treachery, O Isaiah. Yeah. Also sounds like there's some jealousy there too. And Joel drew a bow with his full strength, and smote Joram between his eyes, and the arrow went out of his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot, just killed him. Then said Joel to Bechkar his captain, Take up the cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, the Lord, all capital, laid this burden upon him. Sure. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, saith the Lord, all capital. Yeah. And I will requite thee in this plot, saith the Lord, all capital. Now, therefore, take and cast him into a plot of ground, according to the word of the Lord, all capital. Isaiah is slain. But when Isaiah the king of Judea saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house, and Joel followed after him, and said, Smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Ger, which is by Iblam. And he fled to Megiddo, and died there. And the servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem, and buried him in a sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Isaiah to reign over Judea. And when Jah was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face, and tried her head, and looked out at a window. And as Jezebel entered in at the gate, she said, Had Zimri peace? Who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window, and said, Who is on my side? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down. And some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trod her under foot. when he was come in, he did eat and drink and said, Go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is the king's daughter. And they went to bury her. But they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. So just so you guys know, I'm just going to throw it out there, cannibalism. You know, Jeff Dahmer over here eating people. It's so messy. This is worse than like a barbarian, to be honest with you. This is savage. And they said Native Americans are savage. No, this is savage. Yo, like you didn't just murder this person. You ate her and drunk her blood. You ate her. And then when you tell the people she was cursed, wouldn't we think that it's the other way around? I mean, yeah, that's horrible. I mean, it really is, though. But don't you think that, I mean, for me, I would think the person that did that was the devil. Not God's people right there. Nah. Oh, it's just twisted. I got like a really bad image in my head now. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, This is the word of the Lord. Okay, so now we got capital letters Lord. So this is the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel. Alright, so see, that was Jezebel, obviously. So, but did we read these phrases? The eunuchs. Alright, so he specifically doesn't state whether he did eat and drink, so I'm wondering what he ate and drank for real. This is specified. I'm telling you, he ate her. I don't care. Yeah, Pandora's box there, man. You ate her and got cursed. You cursed. As a king's daughter, you ate the king's daughter. Hey, sacrificial lamb right there. Good food. She was Jezebel. And then it said for the dogs. You know what's crazy about that? That the dogs ate her. Later on, it says the dogs eat the flesh. Let the dogs eat the flesh. But what do we call dogs right now? Like, I don't know. What's up, my dog? And then women are also using that phrase. I say don't do that, though. That's a female dog and he. But, alright, sure. Go for it. Still a no. That's like for me. I'm gonna say it, right? I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna curse. No, I just can't do it. You have to catch me off on a channel called Life Reality. Alright, so anyways, the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel. So, for all we know, that was her. it really could have been anything, to be honest with you. Not like they DNA tested it, right? To make sure that it was. They couldn't do that back then. Alright, continue forward, shall we? Moving forward. There is cannibalism in the Bible, that's true. That is for sure. Honestly, there is cannibalism, there is blood offerings, blood sacrifices. Not animal, but technically animal it is, because really we're mammals, right? So go figure. It's like a giant cult going on over here. That'll raise some red flags for sure. Alright, so now we're going to continue forward here. We'll get out of all this hectic stuff eventually when we get to Psalms is like the best one. We get to sing in Psalms. Alright, furthermore, we are now on the new book, right? John, chapter 1, verses 1 to 28. Yay! Such enthusiasm right there. Let's get this right. St. John. This one's called St. John because there is another one. So we do not want any confusion with this because these are the saints, right? So this is St. John. Alright, so the Gospel of St. John. The evidence that the Apostle John wrote this book, Gospel, is unanswerable. Even though it was published long after the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it was universally accepted by the Christian writers of the 2nd and 3rd century in its Johnny authorship and divine authority. Quotations from the Old Testament references to the fulfillment of Jewish prophecies clearly indicate that the writer was a Christian. His Jewish racial identity is further attested by the manner in which he centers much of Christ's teachings around the great feast of Israel, particularly the Passover. It is also clear the writer was a contemporary of the events and persons mentioned in this narration, and that he was familiar with the whole land of Palestine and the scenes of Christ's ministry, as well as the city of Jerusalem and the temple. Many of John's sayings and all of his quotations of Christ's words clearly suggest that he was an apostle, an eyewitness of the things recorded, and a ear witness of the teachings of Christ quoted. Frequent reference to the other apostles by name eliminates all of them from authorship. One specific statement in which no name is mentioned points unmistakably to John. That would be 21, verse 20 to 24. The manner in which John introduces himself also indicates that he is the writer. That would be 13, 23, 25. John's purpose in writing this gospel was to supplement the records of the three older gospels, not to correct any deficiencies in them. Never in a single instance does he disagree with the events and truths found in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. But there are books that do go against things that are in the book of books right here, because there was a bigger book of books, just so everybody knows that. And they decided to omit those out because they sort of argued different ideas, and they didn't like the fact that it contradicted things that were in the Bible per se. No, they did not. Yep, so I love how that just disconnected when I just said that they contradicted the Bible. The Enoch. The book of Enoch. And then you also have the book of Barnabas. So, just so everybody knows, there was books brought, and if they did not fit the criteria, then they were omitted. And they became the lost books. The ones that they're like, no, this is not going to work. No, we want it this way. Even though it was said that God ordained the books to be written, man ordained the books not worthy to be in the book of books, because it contradicted the book of books that was written, inspired by God, but written by man. But there was some inspired by God and written by man and thrown out by man. There's 82, I believe, in the book of Enoch. Way more. They said, where are the lost books? Dude, go look for them. They didn't. But some of these books are really lost. But not at heart, though. They're not lost at heart. Just, but they are lost because they were like, no! Burn them. There's a book of Mary, I believe, right? Yeah, I think there is. I'll have to do more looking up for that stuff, because right now I'm doing this. I do have the book of Enoch. I'm thinking about that one's going to be the next one. We will see. Guys, I do have it. Alright, so the aim of the gospel is directly spiritual, and its purpose is that man may have spiritual life through faith in the Christ revealed therein. The symbolic words used of Christ are also profoundly spiritual, such as the word, which is not all capital, by the way. It's a capital W, and then the rest is lowercase. The truth, which is not all capital either. It's one capital and all lowercase. The way, which does not capital anything, and then way is a capital W, all lowercase. The light, same. The light, same. the bread of life. Same. Except for of is like all lowercase, right? And the good shepherd. Same. The gospel is distinguished by its stress upon believe, which is all lowercase, by the way. This word and its cognates appear about 100 times. Reference to God as Father, no capital letters in this, is given 122 times. Love, all lowercase. And its cognates appear 57 times. Thus it will be seen how deeply spiritual this gospel really is. Considering John's gospel as a testimony to Jesus as the Christ, the following simply outline will be helpful. Number 1, the testimony of the essential deity of Christ. Deities. Deity. Says it right there. Deity of Christ. Number 2, the testimony of divine incarnation. Number 3, the testimony of his public ministry. Number 4, the testimony of his private ministry to his disciples. And number 5, the testimony and glorification of his passion. Number 6, the testimony of his resurrection, power, and glory. So this one definitely is very moving, right? It's showing like it's going to be extremely moving. A lot of things is throwing up there, and a lot of things it's going to bring out, right? So, and this is another area that people have changed things. So when I start saying this, somebody might actually be like, are you kidding me? The words have been changed. They have, which also shows some deception when it comes to man writing or publishing things. Because God said don't change nothing. Right? So why we can change one word and it completely can alter the whole reality of what we perceive. Just one word. So the divinity, humanity, and office of Jesus Christ. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, the Word and God are both spelled the same. There is no uppercases in this. Like we have seen the uppercase with Lord, the uppercase with God. This does not happen. The same was in the beginning with God. If they really want to specify certain things, they really would and should keep it a certain way, because it does pinpoint out to all us nerds and geeky people who are seeing these things stand out to us. And that means something. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but he was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him, and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me, and of his fullness have all we received, and grace for grace. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. And this is the record of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, Who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. And they asked him, What then? Art thou Elias? And he said, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, No. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? And he said, I am the voice of one carrying in the wilderness, Make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him, and said unto him, Why baptize thou then, if thou be not that Christ, nor Elias, neither that prophet? So Elias also, people can be, look it up. I'm just going to say that, look it up. Because that's another day mentioning this. John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you whom ye not know. He it is who come after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara, beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. All right. We will continue. Jesus, the Lamb of God. That was weird. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in the Lord, she drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are heaving wolves.
Where are you now, when darkness...
Her judges are even wolves. They gnawed not the bones to the marrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuaries. They have done violence to the law. And just Lord, all capital letters, is in the midst thereof. He will not do inequity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He filled not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Okay. Food for thought. Till then, tomorrow, everybody have a wonderful day. And thank you all for joining me, per usual. We will be, eventually I'm going to get into the topic of discussing things, but that will take forever, right? I'm going to be like I'm in a black church. And yes, I can say that because I do have black in me, by the way. So, and I've been in one. It lasted so long, I was hungry. I actually passed out a lot. And I got in trouble. You know, it sucks passing out and then you don't get no food. You were like, man, I didn't have breakfast either in the first place. Now I lost out on breakfast, lunch, and I had to wait to dinner. All right. Till next time. Amen. God bless you all. Mwah. See ya.